This video informs photography enthusiasts about US copyright law and its applications in photographic work. If you're a travel photographer, wedding photographer, fashion photographer, or nature photographer, or any other professional photographer, you should understand copyright laws, especially US copyright laws and the protection and benefits of copyright registration. Let's start with talking about copyright law and understanding your rights as a photographer. As highlighted in a previous video and a blog, copyright protection is for original works. Copyrights are protected under the Copyright Act. Section 101 protects original works of artistry, which can be fixed on a tangible medium. What does a tangible medium really mean? It could be a flash drive, it could be a piece of paper. As soon as you put pen to paper, you have certain levels of copyright protection. More specifically, in Section 102, it covers pictorial, graphic, and sculptural works. They refer to picture-based graphics and sculptures. In this scenario, a tangible medium could be a digital drive, film, reel, or photograph copy. Copyright holders on images are awarded a bundle of exclusive rights around the copyrightable elements of a photograph. Photographers' creative, original elements, or artistic choices. These exclusive rights include the following: reproduction of the photographs, derivative work based on the original photograph, distribute copies of the images to the public performance of the copyrighted photographs, publicly displaying the photographs. The creative elements of an image are the artistic choices the photographer makes around the subject matter, including positioning, placement, lighting, timing, and much more. The photographs must have sufficient creative elements to be protected by copyright registration. Although registration at the US Copyright Office is not required, it is recommended. Copyright registration allows you to have the legal right to sue in federal court, where you can collect damages per infringement, statutory damages, and actual damages. With the increased use of digital tools in the industry, photographers must ensure their works are protected through registration. And specifically, they must be honest if they're utilizing AI tools when developing these creative works, because the US Copyright Office will not at the moment protect anything that is substantially created by AI tools. Copyright infringement occurs when a party violates any of the exclusive rights afforded to a copyright owner. US copyright law recognizes two types of copyright infringement claims: direct and indirect or vicarious. Photographic copyright violations are common, and understanding your rights is essential to effective copyright enforcement. To prove direct copyright infringement for photographs, a plaintiff must have ownership of a valid copyright, and the original elements must be substantially similar in the copied image. To prove vicarious copyright infringement, the defendant must have access or must have had access to the photographs, and the copied works share the creative elements substantially similar to the original photographs. A copyright infringement lawsuit can lead to recovering lost profits, statutory damages, special damages, and more. But not everybody has six figures to go run to federal court. This is where a copyright holder should turn to the Copyright Claims Board, the CCB. Like a small claims court, the process is more streamlined and less financially burdening than federal copyright litigation. The Digital Millennium Copyright Act, the DMCA, was passed by Congress in 1998, amending part of the US Copyright Act. The law encouraged artists like photographers to create and engage in the digital space. Additionally, it provided a somewhat seamless and cheap process for copyright enforcement on web platforms. More information on DMCA takedowns and its process can be found in a previous blog and video. Copyright enforcement is not complete without cease and desist letters, and usually should be the first step alongside a DMCA takedown request if you happen to find it on a web platform. Photographers should work with an intellectual property attorney to protect their original photographs and their creative elements to ensure comprehensive copyright protection. Copyright protection begins with publication and is enhanced with registration, but any other commercial nature of the use must be protected through an express agreement in a written contract. Ideally, photographers will apply for copyright registration before publication. The copyright owner is initially the author, the person who takes the photograph. Unless the photographer took the photographs as part of a work made for hire or the work is a joint work. Often, a wedding photographer still maintains some ownership over the raw and edited images through an express written agreement, and the actual subjects of the photography have less creative control over the development process. An important question always you should ask: is it a work made for hire? A work made for hire is usually when an individual or business hires a photographer and provides substantial input to create the final work. A work made for hire agreement includes a non-exclusive license to the end product. In litigation, a work made for hire analysis is done on a case-by-case basis. Usually involves a multi-factor analysis where the exclusive right to the final product is through intensive deliberation in copyright litigation. Let's talk about joint works. Joint works are works prepared by two or more authors. Pretty simple, right? These authors intend for their contribution to be indivisible and interdependent. The default rule for collaborative work is that creators each have an equal share of all of its exclusive rights. The rights in reproduction, distribution, creation, and public performance. For photography works, the nature of the joint author's contribution and intention to co-author will determine if two or more photographers are joint authors of a work. The rights in photography works can be transferred exclusively or non-exclusively. Express written agreements that include licensing or ownership terms and copyright applications are some of the ways a photographer can protect themselves from infringement. Fair use is a defense against copyright infringement. U.S. copyright law provides several examples of use eligible for fair use exceptions, including criticism, commentary, or educational use. Fair use is determined by analyzing four factors: the purpose and character of the use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiality of the original creative elements used by the photograph as a whole, the market harm caused by the copying. Photographers can register their photographs in groups at the U.S. Copyright Office. A copy of your work must be submitted at the U.S. Copyright Office. The online application process depends on the type of photographic work. Photographers can submit individual photographs or use the group registration offered for both published and unpublished works. This allows photographers to register multiple photographs in one go. A photographer's images will be considered published if copies have been distributed to public or offered for public display, although public display alone will not constitute publication. The process for group registration is outlined in further detail on the U.S. Copyright Office's website. All this talk, and you want to know how long does a copyright protection last? The duration of copyright protection varies and depends on multiple factors, but generally it lasts 70 years past the author's death. For joint authors, it's determined by the life of the surviving author plus an additional 70 years. A work made for hire lasts 95 years from publication or 120 years from creation, whichever is shorter. And the rules kind of change depending on the original author, or is it even a person or a corporation. As always, it is advised that you work with an intellectual property attorney for copyright protection or enforcement purposes. This ensures that your creative work as an artist is protected. If you need copyright protection or enforcement assistance, please visit the firm's website at www.drishtilaw.com or click on the booking link provided below and let's have a chat. This is Sal Malhotra. Thank you for watching.